Sometimes
Hey,
these guys get all mad when I don't invite them on the podcast, but then they don't invite me to these kind of things. What's that all about?
you'd have to ask them. I mean, sometimes it's when it's convenient for them. So,
I don't have any baby showers that would be holding me back. So
oh yeah, bang bang, Sean. How you like that, dude? I like it.
hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the No Sauce Podcast. As you can see, I don't have John with me, so we're not going to say No Sauce Podcast with Kyle and John tonight. We're going to say No Sauce Podcast with Kyle plus Danny. That sounds good, right? That works.
If that works for John, dude, I'm good with that.
Yeah, John is taking care of his family tonight. Everything's good, but just some family things going on. So we'll excuse him on this episode. We want to keep this consistent once a week, at least for right now. Maybe later we'll build it down to maybe twice a week. It doesn't matter. But a lot of stuff to talk about this week. A couple of top 10 teams went down again. One of them in ugly, actually, I don't want to say ugly fashion. They basically got the brakes beat off of them by a winless team. Let's just put it that way. And they decided to wake up and score some touchdowns late, but they got the brakes beat off them. And then they complained about the travel, even though the team they lost to the week before had to travel just as far to play a game. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
BYU won again, and I text John, and he, said the whole top 10 thing, the upsets and stuff are showing and confirming his point.
Okay.
I have a lot to say on that, but we'll get into that later. So right now we're both kind of paying attention to this American League Division Series. I know there's a lot of Yankee fans in my friends list that are watching. The Yanks lead 9-6 in the 8th inning. They were down 6-1 after the top of the second, and now they lead 9-6. So either the Blue Jays really suck, or the Yankees kind of just woke up and maybe that missed catcher interference call. Did you see that?
I did. Did
he get a piece? Okay, so here's a question.
Yeah, are you saying the catcher's gonna go ahead, finish?
Was it catcher's interference, or was it not because he didn't swing?
I didn't see it that deep, to be honest with you. I saw it like I was doing I was on another podcast here about an hour ago. I don't know that that's relevant. I don't know. I mean, that you didn't swing.
Is because it would have been ball 4, right? It would have been, he would have gotten a base. Okay. But then 2 pitches later, he hits a double down the right field line. Aaron Boone's still pissed off about the call. And then the Yankees score 2, and now they've, taken the 9-6. Like, that was the start of the rally, basically.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had seen that and what you think.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it that close. No, not at all. No, okay. you got me all riled up about college football, and then you just jumped into this baseball game here. So I can really give 2 shits about, except for the fact that no, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I want to see the Yankees get slaughtered, but yeah, they're gonna live to play another game. Whatever, that's cool. You Yankee lovers, good for you. It's a great franchise. I'm not trying to hate on the Yankees. I'm not trying to be a hater. I just don't like them. So that's my opinion. I'm a Braves fan. I mean, the Yankees are, Major League Baseball to its core, but I don't like watching them win. So, and I don't even like the freaking Blue Jays. See me edit myself right there? Caught myself. But not a big Yankee or Blue Jays fan. But yeah, we'll watch them roll the Yankees, hopefully.
Yeah, I think you and I are kind of on the same bandwagon. It'd be cool to see a Mariners Blue Jays ALCS. That'd be cool. Like,
sure.
Neither team's been there for a long time, so it'd be different. It'd be way different. But
yeah, love the parity.
Away. I mean, the Mariners won tonight in Detroit, so they're 1 win away. I think they have a day in between, so they can clinch on Thursday.
Yeah. Did you see the dude that caught the home run, Paul? He was wearing a shirt that said "Dump Here 61" on his shirt, and Raleigh hits a bomb, and he caught the ball in the outfield, and then he takes off. He takes off that shirt, sets it on the rail because he's like up against the rail, up against the fence. Yeah. Sets it on the rail, and he's got a long sleeve, just like the shirt that he had, and it says "Dump 62" here.
Wow.
I mean, dude, watch Sports Center tonight, dude. That's gonna be on top plays, probably, if not the top play by a fan.
Think about baseball. Like, how can you? It's just so, yeah.
And he's standing in a sea of opposing fans. You've got one dude, you know what I'm saying, with Raleigh with a Mariners jersey on, Tigres all around him, and hey, dump it here, and the ball got hit to him. Dude. Pretty cool shit.
It's like an omen. Like that's just an omen that, you know,
baseball gods
do that, and it's just the Mariners thing. Like, it's the Mariners' year, I think. So
yeah,
we'll see.
So.
That's an omen, man. So. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Pacific Northwest, man. I'll stick with the Pacific Northwest, and you know that was kind of what was, you know, rattling me a little bit last week. Like John keeps talking about, you know, the the little guy and fighting for that. Like, dude, that's what I've grown up living, man. Like, lives of futility, never getting love in the rankings, like never being there, like finally getting there and then blowing it, you know. Yeah. I mean, shit, Seattle in the early mid 90s, dude, that team, no baseball strike, and then selfishness takes over. I mean, the Mariners, dude, they could have rolled the late 90s, man. Yeah. Really could have.
Well, the Brewers, my pick to win the World Series, they have smoked the Cubs in 2 games. Yeah. It's crazy. You know, the Michael Busch let off game 1 with a home run for the Cubs, and then the wheels came off in the bottom of the first, where the Brewers scored 6. Like, it was just crazy. And then Seiya Suzuki hits a 3-run bomb in the top of the first in game 2. Only for the Brewers to come back, I think it was in like the second inning, and just blow that game open. Like, both games were over by the second inning. Like, it's just, hey, I don't know. Like you said, the little guy, and they're playing for Bob Uecker. I forgot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, dude, Harry Doyle's taking over, man. Like, and it's gonna suck, right? Like, it's gonna be bittersweet. It's not gonna suck, but it'll be super bittersweet. Like, Brewers go win it, you know. Uecker just died, you know, like, yeah. gosh, that'd be good, you know, win one for Bob, I guess, right?
There's going to be, I don't know, there's going to be like an AI creation if the Brewers do win it, like that final out, where that exciting call that he has in the Major League videos, like, they're going to put that in there. They're going to AI it with the Brewers colors and have his voiceover with the Brewers winning the World Series, right? Like, there's going to be something.
Sure.
If they win it. But yeah, I mean, that's a good ball club. Like I said, they don't have any superstars on that team. Yelich might have been.
Right.
But he's not that superstar anymore. But they just quietly go about their business. And
small market team, man. I mean, just, you know, like Oklahoma City and the NBA, you know, squads like that. Like, gotta love those small market teams coming out the ball and people that stick with them. Like, talking about Yelich, you know, like, you're at a small market club. I guarantee he's had offers from bigger squads, bigger, markets. But he sticks at home. And I like that. There's a lot to say about that. Absolutely. Trout, same thing goes for him.
I got some comments on TikTok because I put my pick for the World Series on there. And I got comments from Brewers fans who were like, mad respect for you that you're a Cubs fan, but you can be like a realist of, baseball talk. Like, I am. I love the Cubs. They're my favorite. They are. I'm a diehard Cubs fan, but I'm also a realist. Maybe I'm pessimist a little bit.
No, well, I mean, that's all on you. Just quit pouting, Kyle. Like, I mean, that's whatever. But I mean, that's just not only being a realist. I mean, just being a true sports fan, right? I think that's what it boils down to. Like, you get so many. And, there's fan bases that I could attack right now, but we won't. But I mean, there's just so many people that are just blind by their fan base and blind by their squad, and they can't give other people props. Like, I hate the Yankees. Like, I don't like watching them win, but to say what they have meant to Major League Baseball and the players that have went through there, the history that they've built, and how they've shaped Major League Baseball, especially in the early days. I mean, that you'd be an idiot not to, not to admit that.
Yeah.
And same thing with like the Lakers, man. I'm not a Lakers fan. I mean, I grew up a Bulls fan. It was Bulls Lakers for a little bit, and my son, his name is Kobe. I did not name him after Kobe Bryant, by the way, but he became a Lakers. But what I'm getting at is you have to be able to acknowledge greatness when you see greatness, right? Like, I mean, guys like Kobe Bryant, they had an amazing career and a great effect on basketball and things like that. But for you to say, oh, yeah, I hate those guys, they suck, and not give them any props, dude, those aren't sports fans. Those are idiots.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Did you hit puberty, Kyle, all of a sudden right here on the air? I like that.
Really bad. Wow, that was awful. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I've been singing to my music, my son's music, the whole way home. We went up to saw my parents and my little niece, and he had me singing in a high pitched voice because it made him laugh, and so the voice is a little scratchy right now.
Is that why your cheeks are all rosy too?
No,
are you hot,
here, dude? It's like
it's cold,
cold and hot. Like you can see it's hoodie season.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, it's nice. I like the cold. Yeah, I used to be that fan though that like wouldn't talk positively about any other fan base or anything, or any other team in that respect. I always thought that my team was the best, or what I had that John syndrome, where I thought my team was the top 10. Should be in the top 10 even though they haven't played anybody type deal.
Sure.
But I think covering Utah Valley in basketball has really kind of put that in perspective, where it's like you can win games, but who are you beating? Like that. That's what my thing is, and watching teams play and so forth. And that's where the Brewers came in. Like they're just they're quiet. Like there's no hoopla around them. They just go play the game
the right way.
Yeah,
like they go hit good pitches. They move runner. Like I haven't watched a lot of baseball this season. I mean, for anybody that knows me, like I'll catch some games before the All-Star break, but I'll watch baseball anytime it's on TV. Yeah. But I don't follow standings pre All-Star break because that it doesn't mean shit. Right. Really, it doesn't. Talk to me in August and September.
Central with that because the Cubs were dominating, and then it was the Brewers who took over after the All-Star break. So yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. So I don't pay much attention to it. Like I said, I watch baseball, but I'm not into it, right? And then after the All-Star break, well, obviously the Braves have been dog shit this year, so I gave up on a lot of just following things around baseball. So what I'm getting at though is I did watch the Brewers last night, and I was like, dang. These guys, they're just like you said, they're just banging the ball around, playing good, solid defense. I'd love to see the Brew Crew go all the way for sure.
If it ends up being the Dodgers and the Brewers, though, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The Brewers will have home field advantage too, because they have the best record in the National League. So, that'll be a good series. I think. I don't know that the Phillies are going to win 3 straight games. They're not. I don't think they have. I guess I shouldn't count anybody out though. Like,
dude, it's hard. It really is hard, man. Like in any given night, somebody goes on a run. It's tough. The National League's tough for me right now too, right? Dodgers, Phillies, shit. Like. And I find myself, rooting for the Dodgers. I really do. Phillies being a divisional foe, but I didn't grow up a Dodger hater, man. Like, when we were growing up, it was Lasorda and the boys, dude. That was kind of a cool team to watch, dude. It was on the West Coast. Like, I got no problem with the Dodgers. My only problem with the Dodgers is recently they became the Yankees in the National League. So that's kind of. I don't like buying championships. I think that's what it ultimately boils down to, but it's the world we live in.
So true. So I think that's where my hate comes in is this whole Ohtani signs for $700 million and it's deferred down the road so they could not be over the salary cap or whatever, and then they could go pay other guys. Like it's just
try doing that at a normal business, dude. You're getting audited and like all kinds of shit, dude. Like that ain't You can't do that. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're going to defer $700 million over. The Dodgers might not even be a franchise in 30 years. Like, we don't know where we're going to be in 30
Maybe
years.
we'll
What the
have
hell?
bankruptcy after Ohtani's done. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he might end up owning the Dodgers. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good times.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about college football.
Let's
So
do it.
Penn State, James Franklin complained about the travel,
which is ridiculous. But go
Saturday
ahead.
after Penn State. What was it ended up being a 7-point game, if I remember right, but it wasn't even that close, to be honest with you. Like UCLA dominated that game.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but yeah, I caught the highlights.
I mean, it was. Where are you at? Come back here. It was 27-7 at halftime.
Oh no shit! I did not know that. I did not know that.
7 at half. The game was basically over then.
We we stole their soul, man.
I mean, it ended up being a 5-point game because of that late safety that UCLA had to run out the clock, basically.
Sure, so 7-point ball game.
But still, like UCLA was winless, and they're off. Well, they were awful. I don't know if they're going to start, winning some games in the Big Ten. But like they got beat by 33 against Utah to open the season. They lost at UNLV. They lost by 25 at home to New Mexico.
Ouch.
And they lost at Northwestern. They lost at Northwestern. So how was it 27-7 at halftime for UCLA? Like either one, you're still in a hangover after losing at home in double overtime to Oregon in the biggest game of your season thus far.
In the whiteout.
Or your crap schedule to start the season where you didn't play anybody or test yourselves, because let's be real, they didn't test themselves. They played Nevada, Florida International, and an FCS school to start the season before that Oregon game. So I'm going to agree with John on it. Maybe Penn State was super overrated coming in because they started at 2. They were number 2 to start the season. They were ahead of Ohio State to start the season.
Because of who they brought back, right? Like they brought back their whole squad.
It's funny. Did you see today? Maybe you didn't see it. There was a tweet out, a New York Times article that was asking if Arch Manning is a flop, right? If he's one of the worst flops in the history of college football. And it's funny. He's 3-2 right now. The same record that Drew Aller is, or Aller, however you say his last name,
right?
The quarterback at Penn State. But Arch Manning lost at Ohio State, right, to open the season, and they just lost at Florida. Okay, they haven't had a bad home loss or a home loss.
Right.
Drew Aller just got smoked by UCLA, and he's 3-2. So like, they were both projected to be top 5 draft picks. How do you say that about one who started like 10 games in his entire career and the other guy that's been a starter for like 3 years? It's wild to me, but was Penn State overrated?
And I mean, if somebody's gonna say Penn State is overrated, then you're saying Oregon's overrated because they took Oregon to 2 overtimes. Sure. So I don't think that's the case. I agree. I think Penn State's a good football team. I mean, the head coach making excuses like that, like, shut up, dude. Like, we got to go to Rutgers, dude. You don't, I mean, the travel that the West Coast schools have to make by joining the Big Ten, they're taking way more of a sacrifice than any of you, just because you have to come out here every now and then. Like, don't give me that, dude. That's bullshit, right? And
go to the West Coast though. They don't have to play at Washington, at Oregon, at USC this year. They only had to play at UCLA.
Yeah, one spot, dude. So what are we talking? You're making excuses, like So that's ridiculous. I think that honestly, dude, I think, and I've had some discussion with my Oregon friends about this. Like, I really think we demoralized them, and I think probably after getting your nuts kicked in, this last week and, losing a game like you lost a game, like having a chance to win it, right? That, God dang, I fixed that at the last second. I mean, that hurts, right? And I don't think, we're still talking about, very young men at this point, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, that's,
Could be way
hey, we're going to come back. We're going to go out to UCLA and we're going to wax that rear end. And we're going to go out to the West Coast. It's going to be nice and warm. And who knows what they did the night before?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know. Right. I don't know what kind of, things they have, but I still think they're going to be a good football team. That's just what happens. You get caught slipping, right? When you're preseason ranked in the top 5, and you cruise. That's why I've always had a hard time with cruising through the first 3 games with, FCS schools. And like, what are we doing? You've got enough. There's enough teams. You can play some. You don't have to play some top caliber FBS schools, but at least play FBS schools. Like until we get into maybe a relegation situation where it makes it advantageous for teams to cross over, then that's a different situation. But if you're a top school, there's no reason why you should be playing a school like that unless there's some kind of historical precedence for it, or
like go out and play somebody.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like all the historical schools, that still play together, except for it's a bummer, dude. No Civil War next year. That's they're taking a year off. That's rough, but.
I was thinking sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was looking at Oregon's schedule. So if anybody has a gripe about travel, it could be the Oregon Ducks, right? They had to go to Northwestern, to Penn State. They have to go to Rutgers, and they have to go to Iowa, in the next, out of their their final, 7 games, 6 games, 7 games.
Yeah. Add that mileage up.
Give me a break, James Franklin. You had to go out there one time.
Yeah. And talking about Oregon's schedule, dude, we play 5 schools after a bye.
Yeah, that's not.
That means 5 schools in the Big Ten have 2 weeks to prepare for the Ducks.
That's not. You know what? It's interesting. This game this weekend at Autzen Stadium between Indiana and Oregon. Looking at the schedule for both teams, Indiana still has Penn State on the schedule, so they have to still go to College Station. But the winner of this game this weekend in Autzen Stadium could be one of the teams that plays in the Big Ten championship.
Oh, it should. Essentially, it is a de facto Big Ten Big Ten championship qualifying game
here for Indiana. So they're after Oregon. They host Michigan State. They host UCLA. They're at Maryland, at Penn State, host Wisconsin, and then they finish up, the old, I think it's the old Oaken Bucket, or I can't remember what the rivalry reward with Purdue is, but they finish up at Purdue. Okay. So that's that. So they have the Penn State game, which was really the only game that looks, different. Oregon has at Rutgers versus Wisconsin, at Iowa, Minnesota and USC at home, and at Washington. So, like I said, this could be a game that determines at least one team in the Big Ten championship. Could be.
Yeah. It absolutely does.
Moving after that, unless Indiana goes and lays an egg at Penn State like they did in the, wasn't it them that played Penn State? No, they played Notre Dame in the college football playoff. So, it'll be interesting. Be very interesting to see. And you're going to College Game Day this weekend.
Say that one more time. You lagged a little bit.
College Game Day this weekend, right?
I absolutely am going to College Game Day this weekend. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. I wonder how Kirk Herbstreit's going to handle it, though, because he's got to be there for College Game Day. He's probably going to have to leave early because he's got to catch his flight back to Dallas for the Red River rivalry between Oklahoma and Texas, because that's what game he's calling this weekend.
But that's a 12:30 kickoff, right?
Yeah, there's a 3-hour difference, but it's a 3 hour and minute flight from Eugene to Dallas. So
On his plane,
yeah, that's true. He gets a private jet. That's right.
he ain't jumping on a commercial flight, homie. You know what I'm saying, dude? Dude, he gets across the country pretty quick, dude. How many times have you seen him doing a, West Coast game and end up in the East Coast or whatever, dude? Herbie, yeah, he got that shit down, dude.
It's crazy too to think about it. He
With
does
his
a Thursday
dog.
night. He does a Thursday night NFL game, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
he goes home Friday. I don't know if his kid's still in high school or not to watch his kid play. And then Saturday, Friday night after that, he's flying out to wherever he's got to do game day, does game day, and then lately he's always had to fly somewhere else to cover the game that and the games aren't always at 5:30 or 6 like they used to be on ABC, right? He's covering 1:30 games or 10 o'clock
4:30.
games,
Yeah.
so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, dude, it's truly a bucket list item, right, dude? Like, I mean, it would be great if Coach was there. It'd be a cool surprise if he shows up just to pick the Duck, one last time. Because I mean, let's be honest, dude. Coach and the Duck, dude, they had a thing, dude. I know Brutus was his first love, but he loved the Duck just as much.
Yeah.
So. And the Ducks.
He was the IU head coach at one point too. So
he was the Oh, that's a very good point. I didn't think about that.
Maybe he will be there just as a surprise, considering he has so many ties to these two schools.
And I don't need to hear him talk very much. That was rough, last couple of years. Love Coach, but there's he's just needed to step away. But it would be cool just to see him, dude, show up for that last segment and throw the headgear on, man. Like that would be nuts. And maybe I'm pipe dreaming, maybe I'm being selfish. I don't know, but it'd still be cool. I mean, dude, I'm showing up at 3 a.m.
nice.
at on campus in Oregon, and I'm gonna be hanging out with a bunch of wired college kids that are just gonna be high on adrenaline, and I'm gonna be like, man, I'm trying to stay awake right now. So no, I mean, the way it looks like, I mean, of course there's going to be dudes camping out and stuff like that. So literally I'm just flying up there to go to college game day.
Nice.
And if I watch the game at a bar or in the parking lot, that's fine with me. I mean, I'm not trying to spend, $500-600 on a ticket or on a couple tickets, because me and my brother are going and my nephew. So yeah, I'm not trying to, if somebody wants to throw me some tickets last minute, that's cool. But I've got season ticket holders, dude. A buddy of mine, like super pissed, dude. He's been a season ticket holder for the Ducks for, I'm going to say if it's not 30 years, I'm surprised. Like he's had a lot of shitty Duck teams season tickets, right? So yeah, I told him that, I was looking at tickets and some people were trying to sell them to me and I was giving him the prices and he was like, man, that's crap, dude. Like I sold my tickets like 3 weeks ago for $75 a piece.
Yeah.
And I mean, you standing room only, your favorite tickets, Kyle, are still $200 at Autzen Stadium.
Have a view, maybe. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a view, so let's not get into that.
Yeah, it's outdoors. There's definitely a view, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna make it into the game or not, but it'd be cool if we did. But I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be close. And college game day, man, I'm gonna live it up, dude. I've got I want to hear you guys' opinions on what my signs should say because I'm gonna have at least 3 signs. So talking to Sean and Damien and Yak and the boys and give me something, dude. I'll put it on a card, dude. Yeah, so you guys can get up and watch me and put some stupid stuff on a card and fight with the Oregon Duck. Have a good time.
I will have to think about that. Challenge accepted. I will have to think about that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've got a lot of ideas, but mine aren't, generally PG-13 or under. So, I mean, I need some help on, making some stuff a little more politically correct.
I don't know. There's been some signs that aren't so politically correct, and that you see on college game day.
That's what I was telling. Yeah, like dude. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but I don't know if those people get escorted out directly after that or not either. So I'm trying to stick around the whole time. If I'm gonna show up at 3 a.m., dude, I want to be in the pit, dude. I want to be up front. Absolutely, dude. Yeah, 100%.
I went to couple years. Well, this is what 2016 or 17, maybe one of the two.
A lot more than a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's a decade ago now, but college game day college game day came out to Salt Lake City when, Utah was hosting Jared Goff and Cal,
Okay.
in a Saturday night game, and me and my buddy, we actually flew the Utah Valley flag, to get it on there, to get it seen and stuff like that, so that was cool, but we woke up and we went in there. I think we got there, like, 4:30, and the pit was already filled because all the Utah students had camped out and stuff, but we were there, and then after the show was over, because we stood for so long, my back was I could barely walk back to the car. So I came home, slept, and a neighbor of mine, he invited me to the game because he has season tickets. And so I drove from Salt Lake or from Eagle Mountain to Salt Lake, from Salt Lake back to Eagle Mountain, and then he drove us back to Salt Lake. So it was kind of the day trip of I don't know. It was a good game though.
Yeah.
Um, that was the
Yeah.
one time we went on college game day. So
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm gonna fly into my buddy Jeff hooked me up with some tickets to fly from because I'm gonna be in Salt Lake. Well, Thursday, right? We've already
right.
talked about that. So I'm gonna be in Salt Lake Thursday, doing some work and picking up some tires. So I told my buddy, I'm like, hey, I'm already gonna be in Salt Lake. Hooked me up with tickets. I'm gonna fly out Friday at 11. Get to Medford, Oregon, probably 11:30 their time. So gaining an hour, obviously going back. Can't be that long of a flight. Hour and a half tops, probably, I would imagine. And then gonna wait for my nephew to get off work at 5, and then we're gonna drive from Medford to Eugene, which is about a 3-hour drive, 2 hour and 45 minutes
Yeah.
up there. Got a little motel room not too far away, and we're gonna go crash as early as possible so we can, like I said, be there at like 3 a.m. The gates open at 3:30.
Yeah.
So whatever that means, I don't know. I'm sure I'm in for a painful recovery on the way back because I mean I'm gonna be on my feet from whenever to whenever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So game day is actually not like at Autzen Stadium. It's on the campus, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that's not a long ways away, but it's like 2 miles.
Yeah.
So I mean, on foot, if you're just strolling, that's half hour, 45-minute walk, right? So depending on where we park, I mean, because you got to go up over the river, so you got to go up over the bridge and things like that. So depending on where we park strategically, I've got some friends that have some tailgate spots just behind the science center there. There's a planetarium there, and they got an RV park, so it's kind of halfway in the middle. So we're kind of hoping to just park in a good spot, ditch some stuff at a spot, and then head down and soak up a game day and see what the hell happens. And I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait.
That's gonna be awesome. It's a great experience. I think that's awesome.
Well, like I was telling my wife, I mean, we're dudes have stupid bucket list stuff like this, like to go to college game day or, rock and roll Hall of Fame, football Hall of Fame, baseball Hall of Fame, all that stuff. Girls are wanting to go to like Paris and all that shit. But, we're simple, dude. Okay, send me to the Field of Dreams, things like that, dude. Like we could knock out a Midwest tour and get all those Hall of Fames, go to some games at Omaha, knock out to go to, Rosenblatt and watch some Little League World Series. That's another good time of year. But
Yeah, I actually got to see a game in the old Rosenblatt Stadium before they tore it down. Yeah,
did you?
The summer after I graduated, so we went out and played in a
What
tournament.
year was that, Kyle?
2000. So
2000.
25 years ago.
Oh shit, we did graduate the same year.
Yeah.
All right.
So, we went out and played a tournament in Omaha, and we got tickets to I think it was the championship game, the first championship game between Stanford and LSU. And we actually our tickets were for the bleachers out over left field. And we stood in line with LSU fans. Like the line for tickets to get in wrapped clear around the stadium and around the parking lot. Like it was nuts. But these LSU fans were crazy. Like they took over that stadium. And
I bet.
we had to leave about the third or fourth inning, and right after we left, somebody had turned on a TV or turn on the radio or something, and they had just hit a home run right where we were sitting, where we would have caught the ball had we stayed. But we had to go play a game of our own. So
Sure.
that was cool. The only game that we won that weekend was that game that we had to leave early from that championship game. I pitched in it and I hit 2 doubles. So, that was the only game we ever won in Omaha because they went there the year before and didn't win a game either. So, good times. But yeah, that old Rosenblatt, man, TD Ameritrade is cool. It's nice and new, but like it has nothing on that old Rosenblatt stuff.
No, it's a mammoth park too. I mean, geez, like, yeah. Rosenblatt was a spot, man. Yeah, TD Ameritrade is just a
They
whole.
tore it down. I think there's like a zoo there now. But
Yes,
they've left some things like little icons in the ground to
I think they still have where home plate is. So I think if I remember correctly, there's like a little park there, and they still have like where the original plate was. Like the original plate is still in the ground, supposedly, whatever, and they have some kind of little homage there. But
yeah, man, it was a great experience. We drove through Omaha last year or 2022. No, last year. Now that 2024, we went on a 2-week road trip and we had to drive through Omaha one of the days. And it would have been cool to stop at TD Ameritrade just to, check it out for a minute because the College World Series wasn't there yet. It was still the regionals and stuff like that. So
Williamsport's the same way, right? If I'm out that way, dude, I'm wanting to go to Williamsport and check
you
that.
gotta go all the way to Pennsylvania though. So that's like another 20 hours drive from Omaha. So
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Whatever. It's over there. Dude, I haven't been, man. The farthest east I've ever been, I touched the Missouri River in Montana one time. So wherever that is in basically central Montana. And then Dinosaur, Colorado is the farthest east I've ever been. Those two places. Longitude, latitude, I don't know which is further, but that's about it, homie.
yeah.
I've been to Hawaii. I've been farther west, but that's about it.
Interesting. Yeah, there's some ballparks back east that maybe one of these years we need to just have get some guys together and go on a trip and like PNC Park in Pittsburgh, beautiful. Like I've been there before and it was awesome. Just the view and stuff. People talk about the mountains that we got here, or stuff like that. The view at PNC Park is amazing.
Yeah.
Just yeah. So maybe we need to look into that sometime.
Well, yeah, I mean, we got the boys to do it. I mean, obviously, right? So I got to get in on the spring training deal this year, though, because I've still never been to spring training. So Yak, Sean, and Damien, they've been making a yearly trip down there, and I just haven't been able to make it. And it's generally because I'm umpiring baseball. But I mean, we get the right dates this year. Let's go spend a week down in spring training. They golf, shit like that. Like I'm gonna get that knocked off, and then we'll start heading a little bit farther east. So I got to figure out the west, and I got to figure out golf too. So I'm trying.
I've only been there once. Me and my dad went down and watched the Cubs spring training opener a couple years ago, and then I took him over to Grand Canyon because Utah Valley was playing Grand Canyon that day, and we experienced. I think that was the first time we ever experienced the atmosphere at GCU in their basketball arena. So maybe we could tie that in because that's an experience in and of itself, depending on who they're playing at that arena. So, yeah, now that'd be cool. Spring training, it'd be nice to be invited, but sometimes these guys get all mad when I don't invite them on the podcast, but then they don't invite me to these kind of things. What's that all about?
You'd have to ask them. I mean, sometimes it's when it's convenient for them. So,
I don't have any baby showers that would be holding me back. So,
oh yeah, bang bang, Sean. How you like that, dude? I like it. Yeah, hopefully he's gonna watch it.
Send the link, but then he's like, "Oh, I'll catch you next time. I have to be up at 2:45 in the morning." It's like you whined about not being invited on my Facebook post. Then I actually send you the link and invite you, and now you're going to say, nope, I can't. Like,
It's typical, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Those are my best friends, dude. That's fun. Where's Damien at? Yeah.
Hey, here's what's funny though. I posted on Sean's timeline. I said, "Happy birthday, Diva," right? Because it was his birthday a couple of days ago. He doesn't like it, doesn't comment on it. But when I posted, I'm getting on and we're recording a podcast, you and I, then he comments on it. Like, what is that all about?
It's the same thing in the group chats, man. We'll have group chats going on for hours, and then all of a sudden he'll pipe in with some random stuff, and it's like, oh, now you're gonna pipe up? Like me and Yaki have been talking stuff about you for the last hour, and so yeah, good times, good friends, memories. We make lots of them.
Memories is the best word. Memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, speaking of memories, we're gonna make memories in about a month. I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Don't got to go to Vegas and spend all that extra stupid money and have people living in the garage and things. So we're just gonna do these standard old issue motel rooms.
Hey, the Virgin River isn't bad. It's where everybody.
I'm not clowning on it, dude. That's where every time we went down to Travel Ball, dude, that's where we went. Man, was Virgin River, dude. Heck yeah. Tell some stories about the Virgin River, huh?
I was gonna say if Utah Tech was in town, we could have gone to the Utah Tech football game on Saturday night once we're done playing, but they're not in town. They're in Carrollton, Georgia. So
you mean Dixie State?
Dixie State, yes, Dixie State.
No.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. All right, yeah. There you go.
We went to a game a couple years ago. When we played in Mesquite, we didn't play till Sunday, so we were done like Saturday afternoon, and we didn't play until like noon on Sunday. And so we went up and watched Utah Tech. They were hosting Missouri State. Bobby Petrino was the head coach at Missouri State at that time, and Tyler Huntley, is that his name, that played at Utah? He was the quarterback there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Like very, very interesting. So yeah, good times there. I don't know. Does their basketball team play at home? I don't think so. I think they're in Hawaii that weekend.
So quickly back to college football though, before we get off of that. Like, it's tough to sit at home and get dropped in the rankings because the team you beat loses again, right? Like, are you okay with where the top 10's at right now?
I gotta look at it. I mean, 7 of the 10 teams are undefeated. 8 of the 10 teams are undefeated. I don't like that Texas Tech still isn't getting some love because, I mean, let's be real. They dominated Utah with a backup quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Then they go to Houston, and I think they were like an 11.5-point favorite, and they won by 30. But that game they should have won by like 50 because their first 3 drives, they got inside the 5 and for a touchdown. They settled for field goals. So that's a good Texas Tech team.
Alabama, where are they?
They're 9. Texas Tech is at 9.
With 1 loss or undefeated?
No, they're undefeated. They're undefeated.
Undefeated, right. But BYU should be above them, right?
What, above
Texas Tech?
No. Heaven no.
Anyways, go ahead. This is where I'm going with this. So let's finish out the top 10.
I don't know. You
said Alabama's at 9?
Yeah, so you got Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Indiana. They're all 5-0, right? So they deserve that top 7. Then you have Alabama at 4-1 and Texas Tech at 5-0. That loss to for Alabama, that loss to Florida State isn't looking as good now because they've lost back-to-back games to both Virginia and Miami. I mean, if it was me, I would have Texas Tech ahead of Alabama just because Texas Tech went on the road and beat a ranked opponent, right? Utah was ranked at the time when they beat them, and they beat them bad with a backup quarterback.
Oh, I'm all about winning football games and being ranked higher, dude. Absolutely. I agree with that.
But Alabama did go into Georgia and beat Georgia, at Sanford Stadium. So maybe that bias is real, and the crazy thing is in the coaches poll, Alabama and Georgia are both ahead of Texas Tech. So Texas Tech is 9 in the AP poll and 10 in the coaches poll.
Well, so here's what I mean, and this has always been a thing, like, especially back in the day before they even created the BCS, right? Like, a lot of people don't even understand how it used to be. You had two polls. You had the coaches poll and you had the AP poll, right? Like, so who's voting on what? Okay. You've got sports writers writing on stuff, which a lot of times, a lot of the guys are good journalists and they do a good job. However, a lot of those guys are market driven. And I think that's where John is kind of stuck with, is just that, yeah, we've got all these writers from the SEC and the East Coast that don't watch these West Coast games. That's how it used to be. That's not how it is anymore. Right? Like, with the access to everything nowadays, like, you don't have to, there was no setting your DVR back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And like, you just had to, stay up and watch the games. That's not the case anymore. You're catching the stuff, the highlights of your phone's giving you updates before it's, you even see it on the TV. So yeah. And then the coaches poll, those guys are the ones that know what's going on. Those guys are like, man, that's a good football team. Or those guys are suspect. I'm not saying what they tell their teams and what they tell the press afterwards and before and all that, right? These are the guys that's their job, is to judge football players and football teams. And so I take a lot more stock in the coaches poll than I do the AP poll, just for that simple fact. But as far as the college football poll, like, I think I see where they go. The bias is whatever, but they always have, since the BCS created it, is the strength of schedule.
Yeah.
And that's what that was the shift from the back in the day to the BCS. And then, okay, now you're going to throw a computer into it. So argue that all you want. But I mean, the strength of schedule does really mean something. But we're week 6 now. Is that where we're at? Week 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Week 6.
Week 7.
Oh, is that
in the NFL? So
okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of football left.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at, right? Like, we're just now getting into the meat of the season. So where you're ranked right now, and I said this last time, dude, doesn't mean shit. It really doesn't. You just got to go win football games. And wherever that shakes out in the end, you don't have to worry about a 2-team final or, teams, you remember the split national title. One team's playing in the Orange Bowl, one team's playing in the Rose Bowl. They don't even get to play against each other, so they got to share a national title. I mean, you want to talk about those days? That was some weird stuff, right? Like, so now we've at least got a tournament. And we had the first year of the tournament, the real tournament. We had the college football playoff with the 6 teams, and that was a good, I think we jumped to 12 a little too fast. I think 8 was a good number. I mean, 8's a perfect bracket, 8, 16, 32.
Right.
Those are perfect brackets. And I think we got a little too cute with how we did things, but I mean, I feel good with the 12-team playoff, how we are now. They saw the flaws in it last season. And just like with, creating any kind of a tournament or league or whatever, I mean, you could put everything on the board that you want. Oh, we got to worry about this. We got to worry about this. Until you put that plan into motion, you don't know those other intangibles that come into place. And I mean, obviously we saw that last year and they fixed it immediately. So, like I said, 12 teams get in, man. You want to get in, go win football games. Don't care who's voting for you. If you're undefeated at the end of the season, there's a pretty dang good chance that you're going to end in the 12-team college football playoff.
Well, it's like his argument was, in week 3, Notre Dame was 0-2 and they were still ranked, right? And going back to what you said about that strength of schedule, they lost to Miami and they lost to Miami by 3 on the road at Miami, and they lost at home. I believe it was in overtime to Texas A&M by a point. Both of those teams are undefeated. Miami is number 2 in the country, and Texas A&M is number 7 or 8. Right?
Yeah. It's almost like those people know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but they've won their 3 games since those two, like that's a brutal opening, right? To open up against both Miami and Texas A&M, but they beat Purdue by 36. They beat Arkansas by 43 at Arkansas. So they went in the SEC
at
and
Arkansas.
destroyed the Razorbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Then they beat Boise State, who is decent, but they beat Boise State 28-7.
In
Okay.
Boise, right?
No, it was at Notre Dame Stadium.
Oh,
but
was it
that's what I'm saying. When I told John, I was like, it's who they played to start the season. If BYU goes 0-2 against Stanford and East Carolina, if they start off the season 0-2 against those teams and they're starting in the top 10, they are out of the rankings if they lose to both those teams.
Look what happened to Penn State.
Yeah. So, give me a break about who they play doesn't matter. It absolutely does. Okay, that's why BYU, even at 5-0, and they've kind of been vanilla in their wins over Colorado and then West Virginia, Saturday night or Friday night, excuse me. That's why they're 18 and not 10 or 12, right? Or in that 10 to 12 range, because they haven't played anybody. Yep. And until they do, which they have a gauntlet coming up, like we talked about on this, they're at Arizona, then they host Utah, then they're then I think it's at Iowa State and at Texas Tech. Then they're home against TCU. Then they go to Cincy before finishing on UCF. Like, Cincy we just saw is legit. Like,
he wants to be ranked in the top 10 after beating Arizona this weekend, is what he said last week, right? Like, you haven't even got into the nuts of your schedule. You go beat Utah, then we'll start looking at where everything's at. But after that, you've got some tough football to play. I mean, you've still got Texas Tech, like you said, and Cincinnati looked pretty dang good the other day. Sometimes it looks like schools are playing at different speeds, and we texted a little bit about it the other day, and it some of it just looks a lot slower football than others.
Well, I think here's the thing, and I say this about BYU because this is what I see yearly. Like, the start of their season, they didn't play anybody difficult, so it's kind of been just slowly getting Bear Bachmeier integrated, right? The freshman quarterback, first true freshman quarterback start at BYU in history, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the game plan against Portland State, let's get him, acclimated. Let's, win the game big like we're supposed to, which they did. They were up 49-0 at halftime. Stanford, kind of a cruise type game, right? They know they're going to win. They just cruise, get a lead, and then, just kind of cruise. East Carolina, they pulled out some things and did some things different to kind of pull away in that game, right? And they had a big pick six right before halftime. So, and then Colorado, you saw the struggle with the, QB run that they couldn't defend. They figured out a little bit enough just to get the lead and to win the game. West Virginia, they got a big lead and just kind of, coasted. But they haven't pulled everything out. They haven't played a full game yet, and that's BYU. They don't play these full games until they get up against somebody, one of the better teams in their, that they're facing, right? And so I don't know if we're going to see that at Arizona because they may be focused on the week after when they host Utah. So maybe a trap game, but we may see a whole different BYU team and the way they play and the way they get at, go about the offensive game plan and stuff like that than we have in the 5 games previous. So I'm very interested to see how that all plays out. But I don't, like you said, they haven't played anybody. Play somebody, and let's see what happens. Just like Penn State, they didn't play anybody and they got beat in the games where they finally did play somebody. So can BYU do something different than Penn State did?
And I hope so, really. I mean, contrary to popular belief maybe on here, I genuinely I root for BYU a lot of the time. So but once again, we go back to, the realism of being a sports fan. Like, there's some things you just got to recognize, and you can't be blind by your love or hate for the team. You got to sit back, and it's no different than, a lot of, parents with their kids, right? Like, you see your kids differently than other people see your kids, so on and so forth. And you have to be able to differentiate between the two, right? And that takes a lot of time to do, speaking from experience. But I mean, yeah, it's, you just can't be blind, right? You got to look at the whole picture and just see what's going on. And like I said, I mean, I'm never a bandwagon guy halfway through the year. I mean, we're halfway through the year. I mean, look at the NFL. I mean, geez, there's teams that are just crumbling apart, with injuries, Baltimore, for instance, just falling apart. And then you've got teams like San Francisco that have the same problem, but somehow win these garbage football games, right? Like they're walking off.
Effect.
It's crazy, and that's what we love about sports. That's why we do this, because it's like you couldn't. There's no way we could have sat down and said that would happen, right? Like so shifting back to college football, we're teams are one injury away from being a completely different team, right? One fumble away, just one turnover away from things falling apart. And once again, we're talking about 18 to 24-year-old young men who are still trying to figure things out, and a lot's going on in their life right now, just off the football field, not just what's on the football field. And there's a lot it takes to be a Division I football player. But it's an interesting dynamic, and you just got to let it play out on the field. And see where we end up when we're there. If you want to start having those discussions about teams getting screwed and this and that, well, let's talk about that around rivalry weekend, and then we can start having those discussions.
Well, when is the first? I think the first college football playoff bracket or standings comes out
a couple weeks, huh?
I want to say.
That's another thing. We don't even have official CFB rankings.
It comes out November 4th. So, let's throw it all out the window and see what happens in October, because there's going to be some games. SEC teams are going to have to go up against each other, right? Like, it's going to play itself out the way it probably should.
And that's what we talked about last week. That's what I said at the top of the standings. Right? We had 8 teams that were in the SEC and the Big Ten that were in the top 10. And like I said, those dudes are all going to have to play each other. So that's not how this is going to end. Does that look that way now? Yeah, but it's not going to be that way.
I mean, you look at Ole Miss. They're number 4 in the country. They're at Georgia next week. They have a bye this week. They're at Georgia next week, at Oklahoma the week after that. So somebody's going to be not knocked out of the top 10 or not undefeated, right? Because Oklahoma's undefeated, and they play Texas this weekend. So rivalry games are funny that way. Texas A&M, I think Texas A&M has to go to LSU, has to go to Missouri, and still has to go to Texas too. So there's, like I said, this is going to all play itself out on the field, and that's what we have to worry about. We can't
off the field. I mean, Old Miss has a lot going on around the program. Lane Kiffin always does.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that kind of stuff too. You could have some stupid off the field issues.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying just at Old Miss, but we just don't know where we're going to be at until, like I said, let's talk in November.
Yeah. I mean,
and then you can start talking about teams getting hosed and things like that.
Alabama at Missouri this weekend. They host Tennessee the weekend after. They still got to play LSU and Oklahoma. So, all of this is going to play out where we're going to get the top, teams that are supposed to be in the college football playoff, plus the group of 5. But like you said, just win your games and you don't have a problem. BYU didn't do that last year. That's why they didn't get to play for a Big Ten championship. And
they fell apart at the end. Yeah. You can't talk about where you need to be. You just have to get out there and play the game and show people where you should be. And all you can do is just get out there and do what you can do on the field and let everything else happen. And I think we're in a good spot. Like I said, now with 12 teams, if the 13th team is arguing, that's a lot better than the number 5 team arguing.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be debate because everybody thinks they deserve to be in. It's just like, I mean, we're going to do a whole nother podcast episode on this issue with the NCAA basketball tournament where they're trying to expand it to 76 teams. And the report is that they may have AQs, automatic qualifiers, especially mid-major automatic qualifiers that would play in the play-in games instead of actually being in a tournament game. So that's a whole nother debate that we'll talk about, another topic, another podcast episode. We've gone for about 60 minutes tonight.
Well, yeah. Well, let's get closer to basketball season. We got a lot of football left before we need to worry about that.
It's November 3rd is when basketball season tips off. Crazy.
That's when it tips off, but it doesn't. We don't need to have podcasts about it until it gets hot and heavy.
Be like any other podcast and just have all this clickbait, where we're speculating and everything else because, well, that's what gets clicks and likes and stuff, which is what you should do. Like, subscribe, chat at us. We love the comments. We've had a few lately on some of the shorts. One of them said that John doesn't know ball because, well, he thinks BYU should be in the top 10. And, zero ball knowledge, I think, was
that wasn't me.
No, it was just some random person. So, like and subscribe. Danny will be on more of these. John will be back next week. And we're going to have some fun over the next month or so as we watch college football kind of eat its way, to the college football playoff rankings. But
yeah, I can't wait for this weekend, dude. Like, I'll hit you up live from there. We'll get maybe a live video between you and I. I don't know if you can record that or not, but yeah, dude, it's gonna be wild.
Live stream, and you could just send it to us so we could play it on the next episode of the podcast.
So what I'll do is I'll record some videos because trying to do like live remotely without great, satellite or signal like that, as you know, is rough. So kind of like we do with our mic'd up stuff. I'll just take some videos.
Maybe what we'll do is when you come out Thursday, maybe I'll get invited to come hang out with you guys and watch some football at the bar or something. Even though I don't drink and whatnot, since I never get invited to those things, you and Danny or you and Dame go to About Time and hang out without me, and it's like, whatever, jerks. Since we don't have any softball on Thursday,
it's not like you're right across the freaking street, Kyle. I mean, dude, Jordan Landing and Damien's house is literally around the little bitty airport, dude.
I'm willing to drive that far. Heck, I've driven to Elko just to play softball. I've driven to Nevada to go 0-3 with Chase and Dame before. So, or Reno.
Oh, I was gonna say you've never been with me and went 0-3, MFer.
Reno.
Okay, all right. Yeah, don't put that on me.
I'll get invited, but maybe what I'll do is I'll bring my GoPro and show you how it connects to the mic'd up stuff. And you can just be mic'd up the whole day using the GoPro instead of having to use your phone. I don't know.
Oh, dude, let's do it. I can clip it on my hat and stuff.
Yeah, might be fun.
Let's do it, dude. And maybe I'll even, hey, dude, I'm two things, dude. Like, I'd love to slap hands with McAfee. Right. I mean, shaking hands with Herbie and Coach Corso and, and Dez and and all that, Reese Davis, that would be cool. But obviously, Max, my kind of dude, maybe get a little off screen time with him, if you know what I'm getting at. But yeah, no, I mean, just being up there and just get a little bit of screen time would be super cool. And if we got the chance to kick that field goal, I mean, me and my brother are both former kickers. It was a long time ago, and my knees aren't nearly the same. But I mean, I'd give her heck, dude. So that's why I'm trying to show up at 3. There's so many tickets to give away. Yeah, hey, hashtag Pat McAfee and college football when you post this, dude, and the college game day. And maybe you can push me over to kick
you, Danny, to push it to Pat McAfee somehow on social media. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I'll be quacking loud.
Enjoy Eugene. Be safe. Maybe we'll have some mic'd up content for the podcast next week.
That'd be great.
Do this right. If I get invited Thursday night, that's all.
So let's do it. Let's just plan on it right now. So my plan is to pick up I got to take the tires off of the forklift here in town Thursday morning after my safe meeting, and then I pretty much plan on heading to Salt Lake right after that. I got to go downtown, like in the Ghetto, like down by Smith's Ballpark. Like this tire spot's kind of sketchy, but it's heavily fenced in. Head down there and get those tires changed, throw in the back of my pickup, and then let's go catch some food after that, whatever's going on, and then I fly out at 11 o'clock Friday morning. So yeah, we've got some time. Let's go hit about time.
I like it. And everybody, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Straight Outta Whack podcast. That's my other podcast.
You're straight out of what?
College hoops. For covering the Western Athletic Conference. So that was bad. That was a bad exit. But thanks for tuning in to No Sauce Podcast with Kyle plus Danny tonight. John is on a hiatus due to some family stuff. But remember, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Deuces.